We're on the internet all the time, but there's this kind of invisible memory working in the background that we probably don't think about much. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on how the web actually remembers you. And it all boils down to two really simple ideas: cookies and sessions. Let's dive in.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You're shopping online, you add a bunch of stuff to your cart. Then you get distracted, and when you come back, amazingly, everything is still there. Or how about the way a website keeps you logged in for days, even weeks? How does it do that? What's the secret behind that digital memory?
Well, here's the surprising part. The web, at its core, wasn't built to remember anything at all. Every single time you click on a link, the website's server basically sees you as a brand new person. It's kind of like trying to have a conversation with someone who has no short-term memory whatsoever. And that, as you can imagine, creates a huge problem for the interactive experiences we're all used to today.
So yeah, let's start by really digging into this core issue. The thing is, this memory problem isn't some kind of bug. It's actually a feature. The web was designed to be simple, but it's a feature that would make modern online life, from shopping to just logging in, pretty much impossible without a clever workaround.
The technical term for this is a stateless protocol. And all that means is that when your browser asks for a web page, the server sends it and then completely forgets you exist. Your very next click is like walking up to a stranger and introducing yourself all over again. So the big question became, how do you create a continuous experience, what we call a session, on a system that is fundamentally designed to be so forgetful?
The first solution is something you've definitely heard of: cookies. But for now, let's stop thinking of them as a baked good. Instead, let's picture them as digital claim tickets, like the kind you get at CodeCheck.
And that right there is the key. A cookie is just a tiny little text file. It's nothing fancy. The website server gives it to your browser, and your browser just holds on to it for that specific website. It's a really simple, kind of elegant way to leave a little breadcrumb on your own computer so the site can recognize you later.
So the whole process is really straightforward. First, you show up at a website. The server sends you the page and says, "Hey, hold on to this claim ticket for me." Your browser tucks it away. Then, the next time you go to that same site, your browser automatically holds up the ticket and says, "Hey, it's me again. Here's my ticket." And the server, it just looks at the ticket, knows exactly who you are, and can then pull up your shopping cart or remember that you're already logged in.
This really shows that simple little back-and-forth conversation perfectly. So you see here, your browser on the left makes a request. The server on the right answers back, not just with the page, but with a unique cookie. From then on, every single time your browser talks to that server, it includes that cookie. It's this continuous, simple exchange that solves the internet's natural forgetfulness.
But carrying that little claim ticket around isn't the only way to do it. There's a second solution that's a bit more secure, and it works a little differently. So instead of claim tickets, I want you to imagine these as server-side lockers, kind of like the ones you'd find at a gym.
And this question is exactly what leads us to our second solution, which is called sessions. See, cookies store information on your computer. But what if you don't want your shopping cart info or your preferences just sitting there on your machine? What if it's actually safer and more efficient for the website to keep track of it all on its end?
This visual explains the concept perfectly. With a session, the server creates a temporary file, that's our locker, on its own system. It puts all your info, like what's in your cart, inside that locker. Then it gives your browser a unique key to that locker, and that key is just called a session ID.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. How does your browser hold on to that key? Well, often it uses a cookie. But this cookie is different. It doesn't have any of your personal data in it. It just holds that random string of text that is your key. So the cookie becomes a key to a locker, instead of being the claim ticket with all the info written on it. Pretty clever, right?
So we've got these two fantastic ways to solve the exact same problem. One method puts the data on your machine. That's the claim ticket. The other keeps the data on the server and just gives you the key to the locker. So let's put them side by side and see how they stack up.
All right, you can see the key differences right here. When it comes to storage, cookies are client-side, which just means they're on your computer. Sessions are server-side, so they're on the website's computer. What about duration? Well, cookies can be really long-term, lasting for days or even years. Sessions are temporary. They usually end the moment you close your browser. And that directly leads to security. Sessions are generally way more secure because your personal information never actually leaves the server.
So we've got our claim tickets and our gym lockers, and yeah, it's a clever technical fix, but why does it matter so much to you and me? Well, because this simple idea of creating a digital memory is the foundation for pretty much the entire modern interactive web as we know it.
Seriously, without this memory, almost nothing we do online would work the way we expect it to. Your shopping cart would just empty itself every time you clicked on a new item. You'd have to log into your university portal or your email on every single page. Your streaming service would have no idea what you've watched, and your social media feed couldn't be personalized. It's the invisible engine powering nearly every convenience we just take for granted.
So, the takeaway here is actually really simple. Just knowing the difference between a cookie storing data on your machine and a session storing it on a server, that's not just trivia. It helps you understand how your data is being handled online, and it just makes you a smarter, more conscious user of the web.
And that kind of brings us to a final thought. We've just seen how two really simple ideas, a claim ticket and a locker key, solve this huge problem and completely shape our online world. It really makes you wonder, what other simple, elegant ideas are out there quietly holding up this complex digital world we live in? Thanks for joining me for this one.